"Get out of my house, you fat pig." Those were the words Anthony hurled at me. His voice was so loud, so full of anger that it felt like it slapped me across the face. I fell to my knees immediately, tears already burning my eyes. "Please, please don't throw me out," I begged, my voice shaking. "I can't live without you. I will lose weight. Just give me some time, please." But he didn't care. Before I could stand up, he had already grabbed my clothes, our son's tiny bags too, and flung them outside. It was raining. Heavy, cold rain. And there I was, standing helplessly with my 1-year-old child in my arms, watching the man I loved shut the door on us. I cried like a child that night. The man I had loved with everything in me, no longer wanted me. People think I've always been fat. But that's not true. Life changed me. Life pushed me. Life broke me in ways I never expected. Before everything fell apart, I was once a princess, my father's princess. A long time ago, in the army barracks, my father, Sergeant Dixon, raised me alone. He had served in the army with pride and discipline. But when my mother died while giving birth to me, he resigned early. He always said I was worth more than the army. He named me Princess Fatima, and to him, I truly was a princess. My father did everything for me. He didn't trust anyone with me, not neighbors, not friends. He refused to hire a nanny. He braided my hair by himself, even though the lines were always zigzag. He danced in front of me while I giggled until my stomach hurt. When I started secondary school at 12, he would hold my hand tightly, almost protectively, and walk me all the way. Some classmates loved me, others whispered behind my back. One boy even pointed at me once and said, "I'm sure she will marry her father when she grows up." My father had a small shop where he sold drinks and water. Every day after school, I sat with him there. Women admired him, many tried to get his attention, but he never looked at any of them twice. He loved my mother too much. He swore he would never remarry, and he kept his word. When I finished secondary school and got admission to study law at the university, that was the first time I would ever be away from him. He followed me to school to help set up my hostel. And that night, while I slept excitedly, he stayed in a cheap hotel nearby, crying. I didn't know until much later. The next morning, he escorted me to school for my departmental registration, still holding my hand like I was a little girl. After 2 days, he returned to back home, and my new life began. In school, I was shy, painfully shy. But I was smart, and I always sat in front during lectures. My best friend, Jessica, was the complete opposite, bold, confident, talkative. We went everywhere together. I didn't know then that life had already started shifting, preparing to turn me into the woman Anthony would one day throw out in the rain. Every evening after lectures, I called my father. It didn't matter how tired I was, I told him everything. How my classes went. What Jessica said that made me laugh. What university looked like that day. He was my safe place, even from miles away. I was in my 3rd year when I met Anthony. He was in his final year, tall, handsome, confident. We met in the school library. I still remember the moment our eyes locked. It felt like the whole world paused, like something inside me just opened. I didn't know love could happen that fast. Jessica noticed it immediately and rolled her eyes. "All the Anthonys I know are heartbreakers," she warned. "Be careful." But I was young, naive, hopeful. And I loved him with all my heart. Anthony graduated shortly after and got a job as a banker. He would drive to campus just to see me, and each time he arrived, my heart beat like a drum. His love consumed me. I thought I had found my forever. Then everything changed. I was in my first semester of final year when I discovered I was pregnant. I cried uncontrollably the night the test confirmed it. But Anthony, he didn't react. No joy. No anger. Just silence. He said, "We'll manage." That was it. My father was disappointed, but he never stayed angry with me for long. He loved me too deeply. He asked Anthony to come see him. He arrived that Saturday afternoon in my father's house, acting polite and responsible. My father didn't shout. He just said calmly, "I won't let you marry my daughter until she gives birth. I want to be sure you're not marrying her because of the pregnancy." He nodded immediately. "Yes, sir. I love Fatima. I will take care of her. I'll marry her after childbirth." I couldn't write my final exams. My pregnancy was difficult, terribly difficult. I moved in with Anthony, and I was always in and out of the hospital. That was when the doctors told me I had diabetes in pregnancy. My father prayed constantly. I heard his voice shaking over the phone one night as he cried, "Jesus, may I not lose my daughter the same way I lost my wife?" After months of fear and pain, I finally gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. I thought things would get better, but that was when my problems truly began. Anthony changed. He stopped helping at home. He complained about everything, especially my weight gain. I was sinking into postpartum depression, and I didn't even understand what was happening to me. I cried in the morning. I cried at night. I cried in my sleep. My body felt like a stranger. My heart felt like it was drowning. Anthony started staying out late. Then he stopped sleeping at home completely. Rumors reached me that he was seeing other women. My father begged me to come home. "Fatima, he does not love you," he said softly. "Bring my grandson. I will take care of him so you can take care of yourself and finish school." But I refused. Because despite everything, despite the pain, despite the disrespect, I loved Anthony. He was my first love. The first man to touch me. The first man I ever gave myself to. Then one day, he came home with his side chick. "Get out of my house, you fat ugly pig." Those were Anthony's final words to me, sharp, cruel, and loud enough to echo in my soul. I fell to my knees instantly. "Please, please don't throw me out," I cried. "I can't live without you. I'll lose weight. Just, please give me time." But he didn't look at me. He didn't care. He grabbed my clothes, my shoes, my bags, then my son's tiny belongings, and he flung them all outside into the rain. I watched helplessly as my life scattered on the wet ground. I cried like a child. The man I had loved for so many years, the man I had sacrificed everything for, no longer wanted me. That night, I stayed in a cheap hotel, holding my son tightly as he slept on my chest. My tears soaked the pillow until dawn. I called my father, my voice trembling. "My daughter, come home," he said softly. "Come back to me." The next morning, I packed what was left of my dignity and returned to my father with my son. My father opened the door before I even knocked. He pulled me into a warm, long hug, the kind that heals wounds invisible to the eye. He took care of me. He took care of my son. He carried us both through the storm. I began treatment again. I started my insulin properly, adjusting my diet, walking every day, doing small exercises. Slowly, very slowly, my body responded. In just 6 months, I lost a significant amount of weight. My face returned. My strength returned. A year later, when my son turned 2, I left him with my father and returned to school to complete my studies. I wrote my final exams. I graduated with distinction. On graduation day, when I walked across the stage to receive an award for Most Resilient Student, I saw my father holding my son in his arms. They were both smiling. My father's eyes were filled with tears, tears of pride, tears of victory. 5 years passed. My diabetes was under control. My weight was stable. My mind was clear. And I had become a senior lawyer in a top law firm, specializing in divorce and domestic violence cases. My father now lived with me. He took care of my son while I built a new life, piece by piece. One afternoon, a woman walked into my office. She looked broken, scared, tired. "I heard you're the best," she said quietly. "My husband beats me, he body shames me, and I want to divorce him. I want custody of my child." I took her case. On the court day, I stood beside her as her lawyer, and when her husband walked in, it was Anthony. My ex. The man who had thrown me into the rain with a 1-year-old child. The man who mocked my weight, ignored my pain, and destroyed my confidence. Our eyes met. He froze. Shock washed across his face like a wave. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that the woman he abandoned had rebuilt herself. He couldn't believe I was now standing in court, strong, beautiful, successful, fighting on behalf of another woman he had abused. The judge sentenced Anthony to 5 years in prison for domestic violence. His ex-wife received full custody. As I walked out of the courtroom toward my car, a single tear rolled down my cheek. Not from sadness, but from gratitude. Gratitude for a father who refused to let me drown. Gratitude for the strength I didn't know I had. Gratitude for the second chance God gave me. I lifted my face to the sky and whispered, "Thank you."